Hello LEGO fans, Bricks Unbound here for another Building Hogwarts update video. So in this update we're going to be looking at round tower designs. I've got 4 different ones here before us that I've been messing around with for the past few hours, trying to decide what I want to use them for, how to add windows in, things like that. So the first build over here is just what LEGO officially used in the LEGO Hogwarts Great Hall set from August of 2018. This is the build that they used for the grand staircase tower in that set. I enclosed it in the rest of the way around just so I could get a good look at how it would look as a complete tower. And I think it looks pretty good. It's pretty simple to do, which is nice. It doesn't require a ton of parts. The only issue I had with it was that since they use just a straight brick, a space of 4 studs across here in order to get their windows in, it really kind of hurts the round look if you look at it too closely. It's not terrible, like you can still tell it's supposed to be a round tower, but it's just not quite as round as I would like. And the solution many castle builders have used to get around that is this kind of strategy where you alternate regular straight bricks, so in this case 1x2, 1x3, or 1x4 bricks. You alternate those with the 1x1 round bricks like you can see here. And that gives you just enough space to get a little bit of a curve going on in your buildings, taking advantage of the fact that a round brick does not take up as much space as a regular straight old square rectangular brick. So that's what I did to get a better round shape. You'll notice that if you use 1x2 bricks, you get a tower pretty similar in size to the official one there, so I think that looks pretty good. And of course you can still get windows in. It was a little tricky to add windows into this size of tower. I ended up going with these inverted slope pieces. I at first tried to just use one of these bricks, but it really made it hard to get the curve to still look right. Otherwise it had lots of stress on the bricks because you can't bend this in the middle, whereas there's just a tiny bit of give in between those parts that made it line up a little bit better. So that's how I added a window into the 1x2 tower. One issue I have with this is this very obvious spiraling pattern going all the way around it, which would go all the way up to the top. Not a huge issue. I still think the overall round shape of the tower looks fine, and that gives it some texture, which isn't a bad thing either. I'm sure if you messed around with the placement of some of the bricks, you could get another way to possibly arrange them so it wouldn't be quite as obvious of a spiral pattern. And the nice thing about the 1x2s is you can also use the 1x2s that have 2 studs on their side. Well, that's what it is. You just have to believe me there. And you can add some more texture to it. You can maybe stick plants coming out, things like that. And the tower using the 1x2 bricks, the smallest possible one I could make without putting a ton of stress on the bricks where they were threatening to pop apart was, I believe it's 12 1x2 bricks and 12 round bricks per layer. And interestingly enough, that actually gives you pretty much the perfect amount of space to fit one of these spiraling staircases in there. So if you want to have a tower that's just a spiral staircase, this is a good size to go. Alright, moving on from there, using 1x3 bricks instead of the 1x2s gets you about this size of tower. This one, I believe, is 17 of those bricks per level, and I forgot Newt was taking a nap in this tower. But so it would take 17, I believe was the number, of the 1x3 bricks and the 1x1 round bricks, obviously, to complete a circle here. And again, you can insert windows into this. These were a little bit easier to insert because I could actually just use this part. And you can see how I arranged the bricks there. The alternating is very obvious in this one. Again, you're not going to be able to have a perfectly round tower unless you use a million parts without having some kind of obvious repetition in it like that. I think it still looks alright though. And then moving on from there, the one that was actually the easiest to put windows into was the tower that uses 1x4 bricks. So there is the window there. You can see, very simple to do. It does take twice as many round bricks as it does 1x4 bricks, but it gives you a nice shape. The disadvantage being that it makes a huge tower, which could be a disadvantage or an advantage. For me, this is probably going to be the size of the Grand Staircase Tower, which is obviously that giant tower that sits off to the side of the Great Hall. So it doesn't matter that it's huge to do it, and you could build it a little bit smaller than this. I added in a few sets of bricks in order to get my windows in there. Now that we're in this one, we can take a better look at how the windows were inserted. I basically used the same strategy no matter what size the tower was. So I used a 2x2 inverted brick and just replaced, let me get out to the outside here, replaced one of the 1x4 bricks with that, and then two 1x1 bricks. That lets you set your window a stud back, which means that it does not mess up with the curve of the wall, because otherwise I found it puts a little bit of excess stress in the other bricks around it. But if you just set it back a stud, that's not an issue. And then to connect it, I just used these 1x2 modified bricks here, give you kind of the log cabin-esque feel to them, because as you can see, that brick beside it, the 1x4, just fits right into the little curves on it, and it works well. Doesn't stress out the bricks too much. Not sure that it's a legal technique still, but it looks very good, I think. And as I said, this is going to be the size of the Grand Staircase Tower, so it pretty much fits a 32x32 base plate inside it, which gives me plenty of room to make giant moving staircases and things for the mock eventually. Still got a long ways to go. Obviously that is a very, very small part of the tower, but here it is beside the Great Hall, and I think scale wise looks pretty good. Maybe it could be a little bit bigger still, because it is slightly wider than the Great Hall. But we'll build this up a little bit, see how it looks. Who knows, maybe I'll be like, oh yeah, that's way too small, gotta add in a few more bricks. But for right now, I think that's about the size it's going to be. So apart from towers, I worked a little bit on the Great Hall. Kind of. I'm trying to figure out how to make the roof steeper. So the most obvious option would be to just use steeper sloped bricks for it, because before I just had the, what is that, 45-degree angle slope on those. So I went with the bricks that are 3 tall and just go back by 2. And this gives you a pretty steep, very steep actually, about the steep as you can get with the just the slope pieces, pitch to the roof, which I didn't have enough to make more than just that little section. And I think it would work. I think it's a little too steep. I might have other parts of the castle where I want a steeper roof than what's on the Great Hall, so I don't want to eliminate this option for making other rows look steeper. So I think what I might do is order, I actually have already ordered, but I think I'm going to try what the roof would look like if I instead used some of these pieces. So they are 2 deep, 2 tall. So it's the in-between brick between this angle and this angle here, which I think is probably what I'm going to end up going with. It's a lot easier to insert the actual windows that will be in the roof if I keep with slopes. Because of course possibly the most cost-effective way, but I don't think it would look the best, would be to do what they did on the official Great Hall set, which you can see way over there, boom, which they just used plates on it to give it the slope, which looks pretty good, but I'm not satisfied with their little windows on that, and I want to have actually windows you can kind of see through in my own build, so that's why I'm gonna go for the slope option instead of using plates. But who knows, I could completely change my mind again. But let me know what you think about the steepness there, as well as the different sizes of towers. I do have ideas for what each one of these sizes could be used for. This size I'm probably not going to use. The 2x2 bricks I'm thinking will be on the Viaduct entrance, the tower that I built here, that size. And I found a very nice overview. Sorry for it, I have to film off a computer. But I found a very nice overview of what Hogwarts Castle looks like. I found it on Deviant Art, Gamma-ray-burst Deviant Art.com. So go check it out there. I'll credit to that person Thank you for developing this. It's a lot better than my little hand-drawn sketch that I showed you in the first video. And I think the proportions actually look pretty good on here too, so nice job again to the creator here. So if you're looking here, there's the Great Hall, there's the tower, so it's, as I said, it's a bit wider than the Great Hall, but my proportions I think are fairly close. So Great Hall, entrance hall there. Here is the Viaduct Bridge, so you walk across that and it takes you to the Viaduct entrance. So I think these two towers here are what I'm going to use this size of tower for, and of course now staring at that screen completely messed up the color of my video. And then the 1x3 tower, I'm just going to call it 1x3 tower because that's bricks I use and that's the terminology I've been using in my head. Now let's zoom back in on my computer. So that I think is what I'm going to use for the North Tower, which is here, and then Gryffindor Tower, which is this one. I'm not sure what the name of this tower is. I have looked it up. I cannot remember, but it looks from this that it's a little bit wider than that tower. So I'll just add a couple more of the 1x3 bricks in to make that work. And I think that's where these are going to go to use. But once again, thank you to Gamma-ray-burst at deviantart.com for putting this together. Very, very helpful for anyone trying to build Hogwarts in any medium, but especially Lego. I think the next area I'm going to work on, well, I'll continue doing little touches ups to the Great Hall and working on how I want to do the roof and things, so that will continue to be under construction. As I get more parts in, I'll just slowly build up the towers. Right now, it's very tedious, really, to put that together, which is fine. I've been watching various TV shows and the Harry Potter movies and stuff while I have been building these things. So I'll work on those off and on as well, try to figure out what height I want them at, what I want to be inside them. But I think I'm going to start construction of this building over here. I don't plan on starting with the Viaduct entrance hall is what I'm calling it here. I think that's the name. I don't think I'm going to start with that, but you never know. I might. Right now I'm picturing starting more with this building back here, which I suppose you could call the East Wing of Hogwarts. Again, not sure that that's the official name. It's really hard to find official blueprints of Hogwarts, by the way, if you've ever looked trying to find that. But I think I'll start with that. Start at the far end by the greenhouses there. These are the two bell towers, and start building this structure here. It's an even bigger structure than the Great Hall, as you can see from this picture. So I'll be working on getting that laid out. Maybe I'll have some progress on that for the next update. It's going to take 1.5 million parts. I did get a bunch of new parts in, so I should be able to make at least a little bit of progress. And that will do it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Hopefully there were some helpful things if you're building your own round towers for castles or whatever else you might be building them for. Please come back for the next update. Thank you.